Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Commencing. The U.S. Virgin Islands Department of Tourism has stated that the territory is getting back to business following the September hurricanes. The department is currently assessing the overall readiness of the destination to welcome visitors, and the department has informed that they have met with business leaders in the St. Croix and St. Thomas St. John districts, and it's in the process of conducting an assessment of hotels, attractions, and other visitor-related businesses to determine the extent of the damage, availability of power and water, and anticipated reopening dates. News 2 Stephanie Brown reports.
St. Croix and St. Thomas airports are now open, and according to the Department of Tourism, JetBlue Airways, American Airlines, Spirit, and Delta Air are operating flights to the territory. Commissioner Beverly Nicholson Doty stated that the Department of Tourism is working closely with its airline partners to ensure that there are commercial flight services to meet the needs of residents, businesses, visitors, and numerous professionals who are supporting the hurricane recovery. The Buccaneer Resort, as well as the Caravel Hotel and Tamarind Reef Resorts, are housing relief workers. The Buccaneer Resort is a longtime staple hotel on St. Croix, and they have recently announced that they were accepting reservations for leisure guests arriving on or after November 1st. The president of the Christiansted Restaurant Retail Association stated that many businesses located in downtown Christiansted were operating despite power outages.
We just want to make sure that everybody's happy whenever they come in here, because they come in here for a reprieve. They come here to get away from all the things that are happening right now on St. Croix. And when you come in for lunch or dinner, it's sort of like stepping into a little time warp where you come back and everything's okay again. And so that's what we're trying to provide with everybody else.
The governor also informed that the territory was still a sought-after destination.
But we also have a significant number of requests for cruise visits for the island of St. Croix across all of the lines. And I'm going to be having a meeting with the Department of Tourism and the Port Authority this week so that we can really have a rational strategy in terms of how we can handle visitations.
For News 2, I'm Stephanie Shalana Brown.
Now, as discussions with transportation partners continue, the Department of Tourism reports that JetBlue Airways, as we just mentioned, has resumed commercial service to the territory. This service is in addition to American Airlines operations at both the Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas and the Henry E. Rolson Airport on St. Croix, as well as Delta Airlines and Spirit Airlines service to and from St. Thomas. Inter-island flights by Air Sunshine, Cape Air, and Seabourn Airlines are also operational. As conditions improve, airline schedules are likely to normalize. They say in the interim, passengers are encouraged to check with their airlines for flight times. Hurricane recovery efforts continue for WAPA. John Griot is standing by with an update. John?
On Wednesday, the inclement weather across the territory led to a suspension of restoration and reconstruction work by WAPA crews, as well as off and on-island contractors. Some minor restoration work was completed before the inclement weather affected the territory at mid-morning. Weather permitting, restoration and reconstruction work will resume in each district on Thursday. The focus remains on reconstructing the backbone of the electrical system. The primary electrical circuits that are not currently energized must be reconstructed prior to service restoration to commercial or residential customers. More than 260 linemen from 3 companies across the United States will arrive in the Virgin Islands on Thursday. The crews will work on all 3 islands to augment electrical restoration efforts. Large shipments of equipment are also arriving this week. The linemen are expected to be deployed across the territory beginning on Friday. WAPA is reminding the public that copper theft, even on damaged equipment, is against the law. We are experiencing an increase of instances of copper theft from transformers, poles, equipment, and hardware that were toppled during the 2 hurricanes. Additionally, copper thieves are toppling transformers, which is an environmental hazard. Residents are also asked to refrain from cutting damaged or toppled poles. Poles that were damaged must remain in place to allow WAPA to properly document the damage when replacement poles are planted. Once poles are cut or removed by residents, The authority is unable to seek reimbursement for the damaged pole.
In other updates, representatives from the Department of Health, they set up outside of the Charles Howard complex on St. Croix, providing limited services as well as distributing various items. Well, distributed today were infant and toddler kits, formula, baby food, bed nets and blankets. Family planning and the community health clinic were on hand also to provide services to clients and walk-ins. And for today only, free insulin was distributed to the underinsured and the uninsured. WIC was also distributing September and October checks. The Department of Health and WIC distributions will continue tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Charles Howard complex.
Territory-wide, we're doing major things also in St. Thomas, St. John. Our Morris DeCatcher Clinic on St. John is open for services, clinical services on St. Thomas. We're providing community health care in our medical van outside of the Roy Lester Schneider Medical Center. We're also providing maternal and child health and prenatal care on St. Thomas at the Elaine Co. building that's located right across from the Niski Center. And so, you know, we continue to provide services to the community.
Well, it has been a little over 1 month since Hurricane Irma delivered its devastating blow to St. Thomas and St. John. 12 days later, of course, Hurricane Maria brought the destruction to St. Croix. Both storms left many in the territory in need of water, food, and other supplies for daily living. In preparation for the launching of the DSNAP program, Governor Kenneth Mapp announced that today was the last day for pod operations in the territory. Residents lined up outside St. Croix's Juanita Gardine School for supplies. Military personnel arrived in trucks loaded with supplies to be distributed to residents in need. Cases of water, boxes of food, and tarps were given to those who needed them.
Executing pod operations, that's where we're giving food, water, and tarps to the public. Pretty much anything we can do to help alleviate any suffering. Even if this is the last day, we're not going away. We're here to help. That's really our mission, is to make a difference.
Well, the mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico is calling President Trump hater-in-chief. This after Trump blamed the beleaguered island for a financial crisis, largely of its own making, and infrastructure that was a disaster before Hurricane Maria. Mayor Carmen Yulin Cruz tweeted back, "It is not that you do not get it, you are incapable of fulfilling the moral imperative to help the people of Puerto Rico. Shame on you. Your comments about Puerto Rico are unbecoming of a commander-in-chief. They seem more to come from a hater-in-chief." Also among Trump's tweets, the president suggested Puerto Rico is going to have to shoulder more responsibility for Maria recovery efforts, saying the federal government's emergency responders can't stay there forever. The Trump administration officials sought to downplay Trump's comments Thursday morning. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch, the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers, we can see everything down. The Dow 31, NASDAQ 12, S&P 500 down 4. Coming up on News 2, we have an update from FEMA and federal partners as they continue to support survivor recovery. That and more coming up next. Welcome back. The Office of the Insular Superintendent, St. Croix District, they held a meeting today for administrators whose schools will be in split session for the 2017-18 school year at the Juanita Gardine Elementary School's cafeteria. Now on Friday, October 13th, there will be a meeting for all school administrators in the district. That's at 1 p.m. also at the Juanita Gardine Elementary School cafeteria. All custodian workers in the St. Croix district were asked to report to the Juanita Gardine School today in uniform. Employees were expected to work up until 3 p.m. Well, here's an update from FEMA and federal partners. They say as they continue to support survivor recovery, the 73-member 602nd Area Support Medical Company is augmenting the staff at the Schneider Regional Medical Center in St. Thomas. The 575th ASMC is in the process of setting up tents for an interim medical facility in St. Croix. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the health and medical teams are in place, they say, to augment territorial and local capabilities throughout the territory. 16 HHS personnel, augmented staff at the Juan Louis Hospital in St. Croix, the Morris de Castro Clinic, and the fire station in St. John, as well as Schneider Regional Medical Center in St. Thomas. A 9-person mental health team is located in St. Croix. A 5-person team is in St. Thomas, and a 4-person team is in St. John. Centers for Disease Control personnel, they're conducting health assessments in St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas, while a public health service advisory team is in St. Thomas to provide direct support to the USVI Department of Health. Federal partners continue to support efforts to restore cellular communications throughout the islands. They say currently 42% of cellular sites in St. Thomas are functional, 43% in St. Croix, and 0 in St. John. EPA is conducting environmental assessments of drinking water systems and regulated oil and hazmat facilities as needed in the USVI. They say to date, 182 public water systems on St. Croix have been assessed. Deployed experts continue to meet with FEMA, territory representatives, and other agencies to assess power priorities. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, through the Blue Roof program, they're making right of entry forms available at ROE centers. To find out center location, survivors can call 1-888-ROOF-BLUE. That's 1-888-766-3258. 9 U.S. Postal Service offices are open in the USVI for mail pickup and limited delivery service. The U.S. Coast Guard, they're conducting seaport assessments. All ports are open without restriction, except the Port of Christiansted in St. Croix, Red Hook in St. Thomas, Cruz Bay in St. John, which are open for daylight operations. Most roadways in St. Croix are open, although some may have only a single lane, alternating traffic due to debris. The majority of roads in St. Thomas and St. John. Operation Rebuild the Virgin Islands. They unloaded a large trailer of goods consisting of baby diapers, adult diapers, batteries, water, canned goods, and clothes to assist communities in the territory affected by the hurricane. The organizations consists of Virgin Islanders living in Virginia, D.C., and Atlanta that have worked together in relief drives in order to provide aid to their home. According to the organization, they have been able to send over 300,000 pounds of relief goods to St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. One organization member spoke further about the efforts.
So Operation Rebuild the Virgin Islands is a concept of Yulin Roadwork and a team of Virgin Islanders in Atlanta, around the country, Maryland, D.C., Virginia, North Carolina, Miami, and what they did is Virgin Islanders helping Virgin Islands. So this is what you're seeing is the accumulation of several drives around the nation that's now coming in. So what they wanted to make sure that we did, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John, is get into the neighborhoods and distribute the goods. So our first distribution is tomorrow at Good Shepherd. But there are other distributions that are going to go on, especially about mothers. We have a lot of stuff for babies. We want to make sure that people are getting the stuff they need. So we'll be out in the community, and all of the partners that are here, the Gentlemen of Jones, Albert Brand, Neville James, the Junior Achievement Virgin Islands, and special thanks to the St. Croix Foundation that's giving us that support. Tomorrow is our first distribution that we'll be doing a mass distribution, especially for the Williams Delight, because it was very hard hit. We want to pay special attention to our seniors and our mothers. We'll also be going to door to door. We're planning on going door to door in Campo Rico and other hard hit neighborhoods like Croixville and Cambridge to make sure that people are getting the stuff that they need.
And thanks for the helping hand there. Well, here's another update. Roadwork will soon commence in Scott-Free, Drake Seat, and Crown Bay on St. Thomas. Contracts were finalized, according to Government House, and signed off by Governor Kenneth Mapp late last week. Custom Builders was selected to replace the bridge and make other improvements to the Scott-Free Road on St. Thomas. This $1.6 billion project is funded by the Federal Highway Administration. Rumina Construction will be responsible for making repairs to Route 40 in the area of Drake's Seat. This $287,000 project has been on hold since 2014, and funds were identified to complete the work earlier this year. Sidewalks and drainage will be improved in the Crown Bay area. This major project, they say, will alleviate flooding and make Crown Bay safer for pedestrians, including the many cruise ship passengers that disembark there. Island Roads was selected to complete this $2.8 million project funded by the Federal Highway Administration. All contracts went through a formal bid process with the Department of Property and Procurement and were reviewed by the Solicitor General at the VI Justice Department for legal sufficiency. While the Virgin Islands Waste Management Authority, they're advising the St. John community that effective immediately, the Susanna Berg transfer station will no longer be accepting waste from haulers because the site is being utilized for the management of debris from Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Haulers are defined as individuals operating a business for profit whose vehicle hauling body transports 5 yards or more of waste material. Haulers will now be required to transport their waste to the Bovoni landfill. Haulers who are found using the residential bin sites around the island to illegally dump waste, they say, will be fined. Fines may include the following: 1,000 hours of community service, 180 days of imprisonment, or a maximum fine of $1,000. You can contact the Communications Management Division for more information. That number is 340-513-7236, or you can email communications@viwma.org. Well, remaining there on Love City after Hurricanes Irma destroyed his home in St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands, National Award-winning American country singer, songwriter, and record producer Kenny Chesney promised to help those affected by the devastation. He enlisted some friends to figure out the best ways to make a difference, to help in whatever ways, small or large. He said that we can. True to his word, Kenny has launched the Love for Love City Foundation to support the Hurricane Irma relief. Love City, of course, is St. John's nickname. Now, those interested in supporting that foundation can do so online via PayPal by purchasing Love City merchandise, mailing a check, making cash contributions via wire or ACH transfer, or by contributing marketable securities. More information can be found on Kenny's website. Kenny will soon release new music in a fundraising effort. According to Kenny's Twitter post on September 11th, it stated he is back in studio recording music to help the Virgin Islands. His team has been working around the clock, they say, to get much needed supplies and relief to the islands because there's still so many people in dire need of help. You can log on to Love for Love City on Facebook for more information as well. Well, still on St. John, $400,000 has been raised so far in a relief fund account set up for Canal Bay on St. John. They say due to the devastation caused by the hurricanes, the Canal Bay Resort team, they're fundraising to support the employees and their families on St. John and St. Thomas. Every dollar will go towards their local employees to rebuild. Also, a help desk has been established for employees. You can call the Canal Bay Sales Office 212-845-0581, or you can email at teamcanil@gmail.com to receive the help desk contact information. Now, if you'd still like to make a contribution to that fund, you can consider doing so prior to Saturday, October 14th, which is their deadline. You can log on to youcaring.com, or you can go to their Facebook page, Canal Bay Resort, for more information. Senator Marvin Blyden held a backpack giveaway in the Tutu high-rise community, and he said it went really, really well. The children were very appreciative, and he said it was very satisfying to see their responses. He thanks Mother's Choice VI for continued partnership and support. The backpacks were shared in time for the students to start off the first day of school, he said, on the right foot. He said he knew it was a bit rough for some parents to make the decision to send their children to school when the territory school situation was questionable. But nevertheless, he's wishing all the students, faculty, and staff a successful school year. Be sure to stick around. Your NEWS2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
Well, what a difference 24 hours makes. We had all of that rainfall on Wednesday over St. Thomas. Many spots picking up over 2 inches of rain. So looking at the current satellite here now, we're in a much better situation. We have some drier air in place, and you can actually see that here with our water vapor loop. The yellow is an indication of where we have that drier air. So what brought us all the rainfall has moved away. However, you'll notice just off to our east, there is a tropical wave, and that is going to be bringing more moisture as we head into early next week. So satellite estimated radar looking in good shape here. We've had just a couple of spotty showers, but nothing in comparison to all of the rainfall from Wednesday. So your forecast for tonight, 78 degrees, partly cloudy conditions, nice and quiet out there. Here in St. John for tomorrow, we're looking partly sunny, temperatures around 87 degrees, not quite dealing with that tropical surge of moisture, but again, that will return once we head into early next week. In St. Thomas, partly sunny skies, maybe a passing shower or two, but we're not expecting any heavy rainfall to come with that. And in St. Croix, we have a mix of sun and clouds in your forecast for Friday. Hopefully you can take advantage of it. Here too, we could see a shower or two. Otherwise, we're looking at near normal temperatures with highs in the upper 80s. Hey, if you're heading out on the water, we're not seeing any issues out there. Waves are running between 1 and 3 feet on the Atlantic side, and it's pretty much the same thing here on the Caribbean side, 1 to 3 feet. Winds are out of the northeast, 5 to 10 knots, so you can clearly see that wind shift. Yesterday we had it out of the south with all of that moisture. Today we have the winds out of the northeast. And here's your extended forecast. A shower or two not out of the question as we head into Friday and Saturday. The issues come about Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. That's when that next surge of tropical moisture moves in, and we will have to watch out for some heavy rainfall early next week. Back to you, Sandy.
Thank you for that update. Time for a news weather picture there by Nada Isaac, first grader representing Lockhart Elementary School. And sharing some sun there, Nada, and that's what we can expect, some partly sunny conditions, shower here and there, not too bad. Send us your news weather picture to NEWS2 via 4611 Tutu Park, Suite 300, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, 00802. That is all for this edition of NEWS2. We'd like to thank you for joining us. For all the latest, I'm Sandra Guman Singh. We'll see you next time. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube.